GM Coin Bureau fam, and welcome to another episode of Q&A. And as you can see, back at it again with your dynamic blonde crypto duo.
The duo that everyone didn't know they needed until bam.
Here we are. We got a really exciting Q&A this week again.
We do.
Right? You know, a lot of exciting questions and a surprise at the end, right?
I do have a surprise for Nick and you guys at the end, which I can't give too much away. All I can say is if you did enjoy the Q&A a few weeks ago where we had the Guy song, we have something similar, a little longer, a little bit more creative production behind it. And
I haven't seen it yet, so apparently it's going to be a big surprise for me. So you'll get in my full authentic reaction.
Yes.
So cool. Well, as you guys know, thanks again for sending in your questions. We've got a lot of exciting questions to get through today, including like Solana price predictions, top 3 AI picks, when alt season. So, I think let's dive right in with the first question then, Jess, and you want to kick off?
I would love to. Okay, so this is from Coinclusion, which is the digital gold narrative going to hurt Bitcoin in the future since miners need fees as rewards? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good question. And this comes down to the fact that obviously, as you guys know, we have the Bitcoin 21 million limit where block rewards trend towards 0. And in about 100 or so, 120 years, you're going to get to a stage at which there'll be no more or very few Bitcoin mined, if anything. What this therefore means is that miners will need to be incentivized and earn their fees in terms of transaction fees, right? So people paying to move the Bitcoin that exists at that stage. The problem is, though, if you believe in the digital gold narrative where people will just hold Bitcoin for the purposes of storing it as a store of value, to not transact with it, to hold it and hodl it for life, then of course it's going to mean that Bitcoin is not being transacted on the network, which means that there's no fees being paid. And if the miners are not getting fees, then they're not going to be paid and incentivized to protect the network. So then the question is, are we going to see a fall in hash rate, miners leave the ecosystem, and therefore the network, the Bitcoin network, is not as secure as it once was? And it's a good hypothesis. Of course, there are other questions at play in terms of like if mining efficiency improves considerably by that stage, then it could be more efficient to mine and transaction fees could be very low and they could be able to pay for it. Or people would be willing to pay a large transaction fee to move large amounts of Bitcoin if they're holding it in some sort of a reserve. I think the times when you potentially have, I don't know, if central banks hold Bitcoin as a reserve asset, they were more than willing to pay to move it because it's still probably cheaper to move than, for instance, gold as another reserve asset. So those are a few ideas around how it could work in the future. But more to the point, it's 120 years in the future. So we'll all be dead, short of any sort of longevity breakthroughs.
I was about to say Vitalik's working on longevity. So who knows, guys? Maybe swap some of your ETH to live a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not something that any of us will really have to worry about right now. Potentially all of our grandkids who inherit our Bitcoins. It's an interesting thought experiment for sure. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, or do you think like it's something we should worry about? Or
I think this is also the use case behind Bitcoin as well. So like you've said the argument of Bitcoin as a store of value, but then people are reminding, especially on social media at the moment, that Bitcoin was created as something that is set to be spent. So to actually keep using it in transactions, and I think to keep using and utilizing the ecosystem is a very important fundamental that people need to remember and also force themselves to do, rather than sell your Bitcoin and then spend the fiat, is to actually onboard new people onto the ecosystem and keep it circulating.
100%, yeah. And also the fact that there's a lot of exciting stuff being built on top of Bitcoin. So it's not necessarily for BRC ecosystem, for instance, L2s. It's not necessarily the concept that, you have to use the main chain for transacting value. The main chain could potentially become a settlement layer, which therefore means that, there's a lot more use cases for Bitcoin beyond just transacting and hold, as a transactional method. So yeah, it's a potentially a concern, but there's a lot of other things too that could make it less of a concern in the future. So yeah, good question. Next one is from Adzaz Manley.
That's a tough username. I was thinking, I'm glad I've not got that username. It's a bit of a mouthful.
Do you think we will see a big uptrend before the 17th of April online with BTC halving?
Okay, so first of all, the halving is creeping up on us. We're 30 days roughly away from the halving. It's now, at the time of filming, 22nd of March. So it is creeping up fast and thin. I don't think most of us were expecting to see the uptrend that we have seen in the last month that we have seen already. So do I think we're going to see a big uptrend before the 17th of April? It's hard to say. I think there's a few fundamentals to keep in mind. There's a few kind of narratives. The first is the ETF inflows and outflows. So at the beginning of this week, we saw record outflows from Grayscale. We also saw the lowest amount of inflows from VanEck. They recorded $5.9 million. And Grayscale had the largest amount of outflows since the start of the launch of the ETF in January. I think if we do see a correction in price or a drawback, it is going to be down to some of the fear surrounding the inflows and outflows of spot Bitcoin ETFs. That being said, the counter argument is before the halving, this is a huge narrative. This is something that we'll be talking about a lot on the channel, but not just crypto channels, also traditional media outlets. It's a narrative that a lot of people can really get on board with and people can get talking about it. We have seen Bitcoin in the news recently because of the spot Bitcoin ETFs and also the price. As soon as the price is up, everyone wants to talk about Bitcoin again. So now that we have hit around the all-time high, surpassed it, and now also had a drawback, at the time of recording today, we're around $66,000 per Bitcoin. If we do see prices kind of move up a little bit, plus the halving, people want to talk about it. And that is something that I would see would attract new users and cause the price to increase on the back of that. So I wouldn't expect personally to see a huge uptrend pre-halving. I think that typically comes afterwards. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a small rally because this is the kind of narrative that everyone can get on board with, everyone can understand and identify. And I had a little look at search volumes for BTC, and we're still a long way off the 2021 highs for the amount of people searching for Bitcoin in the news and Google searches. But compared to the ETF approval week, we are more than double that. And in my opinion, that's just down to the fact that the prices have bounced back in the way that they have. So it's a kind of combination of factors that means Bitcoin's back in the news. People are talking about it, which is going to attract new users and hopefully impact the price.
Yeah, so that's true. So you think there'll be like a bit of a rally into the halving then in terms of like as this hype draws in? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with that. I think the question of how much of a rally, look, there's this point around, okay, the halving generally is an event that is known, right? So everyone knows this time. It's going to, at least crypto natives or people who follow crypto in any sort of description, even more traditional financial institutions, right? Like TradFi giants, TradFi institutions, they know the halving's coming along. It's a date which we know. It's not like there's uncertainty. It's going to happen. The question, of course, is around the narrative that is created by it and whether there is going to be this large amount of hype created.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
because people understand the scarcity mindset.
Exactly.
So especially people that are looking to get in with a spot Bitcoin ETF. Oh, the halving's coming up, limited like supply. So should we get in at some point?
Yeah, exactly. So it's and as more mainstream media picks up on it, more people hear about it, and then if the price does start increasing into the halving, price increases begets more coverage, which then leads to more price increases as more people come in. So it's this virtuous circle of pumping Bitcoin into the halving. So yeah, I do think it's definitely going to lead to an increase. Now, obviously, the extent and the extent of the rally depends on ETF flows, of course. Yeah, which should, if they are going to be strong ETF outflows because people are trying to take profits, then that could be a concern. But I don't think that, as I've said before, I don't think the people who buy in the ETFs right now are looking at it as some sort of, or at least the traditional financial institutions and the guys and the retail are looking at it as a short-term trade to get in and get out before the halving. So it could only lead to more excitement and hype. And now they have an opportunity to buy it through ETFs. It's a lot easier to get access to Bitcoin exposure. Yeah.
And I would also just say, be realistic with your price predictions. There is a lot of people that create hype and buzz around this kind of time event. So I remember doing interviews in 2019 where the likes of Anthony Pompliano was saying, okay, the 2020 halving, Bitcoin's going to be $500,000. Shock, it doesn't happen. So don't get confused between realistic price predictions based on previous price cycles and then the price predictions that you'll see on TradFi media, which will be purely just to kind of cause a little bit of hype and speculations that are so outlandish that you think, oh, what if I could buy 3 houses with the price of 1 Bitcoin? Keep yourself leveled, guys. Don't get clouded by the hype.
Be realistic.
Yes. Okay, our Bosa has asked, should we be looking at any coins from previous cycles that have not performed well yet in the last months?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I mean, I guess the question you've got to ask yourself is, why haven't they performed well in the past 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, that's this coin that's been around for quite some time. It hasn't moved, and there's all these other new projects launching that are going crazy. Surely it should pick up. And then you also see some other project, for instance, from previous cycle that's done a massive rally, and you think to yourself, okay, well, I mean, this must mean because this project that hasn't moved at all must be having, could be primed for a rally of some description. And I don't think that's a good way of looking at it, because generally there's a reason, right? And there can be many reasons. One of them is the project is, slow rugged or almost dead, right? Like there's no development going on. There's no new roadmaps. The team has slow rugged, and the narrative is not exciting.
Yes.
So, and also, there's also previous examples of this. I remember in the 2017 cycle, there were some projects that were just going crazy, right? So IOTA, crazy, massive all-time highs. Like everyone was going crazy for IOTA. I know you got a story about IOTA, and then there's also there was also like projects in the RWA space. Not RWA, like they were called security tokens at that stage. 2017 cycle went absolutely crazy, and then came the 2020 cycle. Nowhere.
Same as Litecoin. Litecoin 2017 popped off. It was, I think, highs of $300, and then 2021, similar $300, but now it's $85. Just because it's followed previous market cycles and hit all-time highs in 2017, it's not a given it's going to surpass that like the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum will.
Yeah, and markets don't play according to, this project hasn't moved, now it has to move. It's not like there's people out there jumping around, which coin I should be pumping. They follow very intently what's an interesting narrative, right? There's definitely can be projects that are old projects, right, from the 2017 cycle that have, that basically right now they just happen to be in a very strong narrative that gets them flying. A lot of the AI tokens, like they were from the 2017 cycle, they kind of like in the 2020 cycle didn't get that much exposure. And then AI comes along and they start flying. That's coincidental, right?
Yes.
That's not by nature of them being an old project that hasn't rallied. By all means, if you think there's some sort of a project that still has devs working on it, that still, is building and is in a narrative that is exciting, then you could potentially explore that. But I wouldn't use the premise that this hasn't rallied, this particular coin hasn't rallied, therefore this is a coin I should be looking at because all the others have. Because you could get burned like that. Because there are a lot of projects that are just never going to regain their all-time highs, and that's for many reasons.
Yeah. Something that we did cover quite a lot on the Coin Bureau Club and the Discord was Sui, which was one of the layer ones that we'd noticed Sol had an absolute rally, and then Sui earlier this year hadn't really rallied to the potential of the other layer ones out there. And that was something that a few of us, I personally hold Sui as part of my portfolio. Me too. And I think we all were kind of thinking like, it's got a lot of potential. They have an upcoming event in April. Is this one that could rally post the kind of Sol hype train as another layer one to watch? So you can also kind of keep an eye on that regards, but they have to be, as you've said, active projects that are moving interestingly. They can't just be a given that they've not pumped yet, so they should. Yeah,
exactly. So start with the project itself, then look at the price, because price itself, like I say, there's reasons why a price hasn't moved for years.
Get in here! Take a seat, sir. Go on. So tell me about these anxieties you've been experiencing. When did they first manifest themselves?
Well, I think they first started when I got into crypto. I started to worry about all kinds of stuff.
Such as?
Well, I became anxious that I was spending, way too much on exchange fees. Like every time I made a trade, boom, more precious crypto gone. And I felt like I was missing out in other ways too.
What other ways?
Well, for instance, why didn't I get a sign-up bonus when I registered on an exchange? I mean, come on, they should be welcoming me with open arms.
That's a common feeling for many people in crypto.
Yeah, go figure. And I kept getting told to buy a hardware wallet to keep my crypto safe, but some of those things ain't cheap, huh? I mean, what's a guy to do?
Well, there's a cure for those concerns.
You mean medication?
No, I mean like the Coin Bureau deals page. It has trading fee discounts on top crypto exchanges. It offers sign-up bonuses of up to $60,000, and it has discounts on the best hardware wallets too.
You mean I just go to the Coin Bureau deals page and I'm cured?
Yeah, absolutely. Just head down using the link down below.
Okay, I'm on my way. Oh.
Cool. So on to the next question. And this is from Alex Raducanu. And he asks, is Solana going to $1,000?
Is Solana going to go to the moon?
Is it going to Iraq? Is it going to Iraq?
Okay, so you don't hold Solana as part of your portfolio.
I don't, unfortunately.
I didn't realize this. I was surprised. So I hold Sol as part of my personal portfolio, just as a kind of transparency, and you'll see my full portfolio in the club, but I hold ETH, and then Sol is around 50% of my ETH holdings. So But I actually had a change of heart a little bit this week, and I'm thinking of doing a little bit of a readjustment, and I'm gonna run you through why.
Okay.
So I had a little listen to Vitalik Buterin's interview on ETH Taipei recently, and he was talking about some of the roadmap objectives for Ethereum, and he was saying, in the next 5 years, we want to make it cheaper to use, and also we want to make it easier UX and UI. And I'm kind of thinking, as people that are coming into the ecosystem in 2024, Solana already has those things. They already have a super friendly UX and UI. Like their marketing, branding, partnerships, they're sick. They're like very understandable. And then also you've got the fact that with Firedancer coming out soon, it's going to be easier transactions per second. It's going to be more scalable, less outages. So I thought that was an interesting narrative and mindset to put yourself into. I think we've been in crypto a long time, so you have a loyalty to ETH. ETH has a huge ecosystem. You cannot compare the two in that regard. But however, for people that are looking to come into the space and you're educating yourself on, some of the projects within the Sol ecosystem, it does seem a little bit more competitive in this year. Price predictions, I really hate giving price predictions.
That's risky. That's landmines.
It's a risky bit. I don't see Sol going to $1,000 personally, but I am.
Wait a second, what sort of time frame? Because I didn't give a time frame here. In this cycle, you don't think it's going to 1,000?
I just hate price predictions, guys, because I'm always so wrong.
Will it definitely reach 1,000?
Could the Sol ecosystem 5x? Let's answer it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to say is Sol going to go to 5, but right now, could Sol 5x with its ecosystem? Yes, 100%.
Cool.
So Austin Federa, who's the head of strategy at Solana, was on CNBC on the 20th of March, and he was given a run through of some of the things they're working on. And he was saying the roadmap for Solana right now, consumer adoption is competing with mobile phones and social media. Yeah. He's not talking about competing with other blockchains. He's going for the big guns. As we know, Anatoly is really big in telecommunications. And so scalability is something really big for the network. He's saying that Solana is nowhere near finished as a code base and new features are constantly being rolled out. As we know, Firedancer is coming soon. This is something that Austin's spoken about on Clip's channel before, and so is Raoul Pal, the Sol bull that's come on the channel before. Also this week, Solana hit its highest daily active users and also an all-time high in search volumes. So more people are searching for Solana this market cycle than they are for Bitcoin, which is pretty interesting. And what other fun facts do I have for you guys? So he's regarded actually that there's a lack of retail users this market cycle. So Austin was saying, compared to 2021, he's getting less big name company brands, kind of celebrities coming on board looking to work with Sol. He's saying from that side of things, they're not at 2021 peak yet. However, the search interest, transaction volumes, users, that's all higher than before. And then also, I just think that the deepen narrative is something that Solana is scaling really, really well. So Hive Mapper, which is the kind of decentralized mapping, you can buy this thing, they've called it the Hive Mapper B, for $400, pop it into your car, and you're constantly earning points for going around, earning tokens for having a decentralized version of Google Maps. So easy to use. I had a little look at the website, and it's just clear, concise. It doesn't mention crypto, blockchain. It's just incentivizing you as a user. Also, Drip House, which is an NFT marketplace where they just give out free NFT artwork. Again, they don't mention crypto, they don't mention blockchain. It's just sign up, collect, earn. And these are what people are getting used to now. So for me, I was like, okay, I was bullish anyway, but I think I'm going to reallocate a little.
Wow. So has the Solana Foundation reached out to you as being the new brand ambassador? Because that was an amazing Sol show. That was, I'm bullish now on Sol.
Are you? See?
Well done. No, look, I agree with a lot of the points you said around UX. I think Solana ecosystem is growing massively. Mm-hmm. And, I recall that I had an interview with the K33 DeFi analyst, and he was very bullish on Sol as well. And the whole point around it is the UX, right? And there's a lot of people in crypto right now, if you speak to the normies who've just come in, they don't really know about the MetaMask wallet. They just go straight to Phantom because Sol is the most user-friendly ecosystem in terms of a UX from fees perspective. So in terms of price, I know price predictions are a bit tricky sometimes, but I'll lean on some other, analysis that's been done and just say, for instance, definitely $1,000 within the, it will definitely reach $1,000. In terms of the time frame, they remember that in October last year, there was the Van Eck report where they kind of had that very wide range of Solana price predictions. So by 2030, which is a long time. So they said between 9 and 3,200 or something like that, which is wide. It's kind of the confidence interval, or so $9, which is below. This is back in October, right? So anyways, it was a bullish report, very bullish, because up to 3,200. They said that by 2030, you could have the Solana ecosystems could be generating about $8 billion in fees. And the base case is about $330, which is not too far from where we are now in 2030. So that's another price prediction. We did a review, main channel video on Solana about 4 months ago. And in that we said, look, if you think that Solana is following, ETH's market top in the previous cycle, so it's one cycle behind ETH. ETH reached 500 billion market cap in the previous cycle. Solana's got, if we assume Solana reaches the same market cap with about 433 million outstanding SOL, do some math on that, talking about 1,100 SOL in this cycle. That's if you assume Solana market cap reaches ETH, and if you think that it's going to be following one cycle behind. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's possible this cycle, but definitely within the next 6 to 7 years, you'll definitely see it above $1,000. And yeah, I mean, we actually got a new Solana video coming out next week, main channel update. So that's a little bit of alpha for you guys to keep your eyes peeled for that. And
I just still can't believe the audacity of Van Eck to post a price prediction that's like, between $9 and 3,200. That's like, if
fair, they have a base. It's super. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what are you supposed to invest like that? I mean, it could go, But to be fair, at that stage, the Solana price, I can't remember what it was exactly in October. But it was like 16 or something like that. So it's kind of like, okay, what's your potential loss? It's potentially losing half, but in terms of the upside. So it's kind of like a binary prediction at that price point. It's not like you're investing at this point now.
I thought it sounded like, the doomsday prediction, like TradFi guys, that like, the world's going to end. And eventually, once every 10 years, they correctly guess a pandemic. Okay, so next question is from, this username is a little sus.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
CZ Heartless has asked you, what do you think about the future of Nia with AI?
Yeah, or is he trying to say that CZ's heartless, or what is he? Or is it like a CZ alt account?
Or it could be like the Kanye West song "Heartless," which is one of my favorite Kanye songs.
Cool. Yeah. So let's get straight to the question. So yeah, future of Nia and AI. It's actually interesting because this week when they had the NVIDIA GTC.
Yes.
Yeah, and Ilya, the founder of Nia, was there on the same panel with Jensen Huang from NVIDIA. So that's pretty crazy. And Nia was rallying in that because it's like, this is big news, right? One of the few crypto projects that's there at the seminal AI, AI / computing event in the world. And it's actually quite interesting because the history of Nia, it's actually AI in the sense that Nia was originally envisioned to be an AI project where you're using autonomous AI agents. And they were trying to think about how they'd pay a lot of people who contributing in terms of an open source way to these AI agents. And the whole name, in fact, Nia came from Nia AI, so Nia AGI. Okay. Yeah. And then they realized it's actually quite hard to make micropayments in fiat. So then that's kind of like the story about how they got into crypto. But Ilya actually is a very story, like he was one of the first creators, and this is something you shared in the Coin Bureau Discord. Yeah. About Ilya's back. I mean, you want to let the people know, like, Ilya basically was one of the authors of a very important paper in AI, right?
So there was this paper that came out. There was a range of Google scientists in 2016 that had collaborated on this paper called the Google Transformative AI paper, and Ilya was one of the first 3 of 8 co-authors. And the paper created this architecture and discovered this architecture that really now the people from OpenAI have come out and said they don't think Google realized how significant this was in shaping the world of AI as we know it today. So products like ChatGPT, DALL-E, and also Midjourney, all the things that store data and also help with AI compute have been underpinned from this one specific paper. And they've gone on to say this paper has been famous in the world of AI. They didn't realize how big it was going to be. So Sam Altman said when the paper came out that Ilya was one of the authors of, he doesn't think anyone at Google realized actually what it meant. And the reason that Google didn't really act on it was, I guess, because, such a large company, it's hard for them to integrate and move forward. But the wireless article, which I think we can link to down below because I think everyone should dive into it. It was really, really interesting. But the wireless article has said that had Google been less cautious, ChatGPT could have been emerged by Google as early as 2018, and ChatGPT 3 or 3.5 could have come by 2019 or 2020. And 7 of the 8 authors from this report have now gone on to create their own companies. The final one is now with OpenAI as a lead AI scientist. And 5 of those have companies which have achieved over $2 billion billion valuation. And the world's leading AI scientists emphasize that without this one specific paper, he doesn't think he would be here now. And he doesn't work for Google. He's just a leading scientist in AI. So I didn't realize the full extent of the role Ilya has played in molding the AI space until reading that article. And when I read it, I was like, oh my goodness. I had Nia as a watch list item for a while, but I didn't hold any Nia. And now I'm thinking of stacking up some bags.
You're the Nia crew, you know.
Do you hold Nia?
I do hold Nia, yeah. Okay. I've held it for quite some time. I picked it up like last year. I remember been saying it was a really interesting L1 to look into. And the tech is fascinating. Look, it's got dynamic resharding, right? It's got this near D8 data availability, which is a lot cheaper than on Ethereum right now. And I still think it's undervalued from the perspective of network, potential network upside in terms of demand, right? In terms of how easy it is to and scalable Nia is. But the one thing that Nia, and we've mentioned this because we did do a Nia video more recently, about a month or two ago. And we've also got we've recently updated our Nia full article on coin.bureau.com, which I'll link to below as well.
Nia full? You should have called it Nia far.
No, I'm just saying Nia far in terms of like.
Oh, because then it would have been like Nia
yeah,
far.
that would have been a good idea, actually. Yeah, good titling. Yeah. But no, I think that it's definitely Nia. The one thing that Nia has struggled with in terms of like, compared to the other L1s, not struggle with per se, but like why it hasn't rated as much as something like Solana or some of the stuff is narrative. So people could have thought, okay, look, AVAX, you've got gaming, Solana, you've obviously got like DeFi and all the stuff that's going on with Memecoins now. Nia, it was the narrative shift. And now, of course, AI. So if it can be able to capture the AI narrative, which it is the most well-positioned to do. I mean, it's not like these other AI projects started in 2017 or trying to jump on the AI train. These guys, authored the paper.
Yeah.
So basically, I think Nia has got a lot of potential within the AI hype and within the AI narrative. But not just that. It's not just about narratives. Like the project's really fascinating from a tech perspective. And it's definitely one to think about or consider putting on your watch list. Check out those videos and the entire article to get a full rundown. Next question is from Chavali. And he asks, when will altcoin season start? When alt season? Jess, when alt season?
Well, I would have said that we're already in, to a certain extent, an alt season. I mean, I'm looking at some of the top gainers and it's like 10% up on the day. Like some of the...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Maybe we can start with, because you had an interview recently with K33.
Yeah, K33, yeah. So basically, I guess the question of when alt season is, one should really start and ask yourself, what is an alt season? Like, there's no technical definition like what is an alt season. It's just people have a feel it's alt season. And the feel is around a lot of things like sentiment, people going crazy, search volume up, social metrics through the roof. People like altcoins, like L1s from the old time are going up 10x or more. But there isn't like a defined metric. But I think what we can generally coalesce around in terms of alt season. Obviously, there's been some alts now that are definitely rated according to in relation to Bitcoin. They're much higher and they're higher to Bitcoin, Solana, and some of these other L1s. Some of the new projects are going crazy. But in terms of you were to look at historical alt seasons, it's generally understood to be when people are rotating out of Bitcoin. The first point of rotation out of Bitcoin is into the likes of Ethereum, because that's the first altcoin outside of, that's the highest market cap altcoin, but the ETH, but BTC pair has been falling. So that's not necessarily a sign the alt season's here yet. Another thing, of course, is the fact that Bitcoin dominance has still been going up, right? And Bitcoin dominance is a measure of Bitcoin in relation to all altcoin market caps, so the broad spectrum of altcoins. So from that perspective, I don't think we're in alt season yet. But then this begs the question of, when is it coming and how big of an alt season will it be? In terms of if you do the generally accepted terms and definitions of what an alt season is. So that's the next question then.
And I think we also have to look at, is this market cycle going to be different because of a few factors? Is the altcoin season going to be different because we have seen a large amount of the price rally has been down to spot Bitcoin ETFs and the issuers kind of accumulating Bitcoin and that performing exceptionally well. So that rotation, is that rotation going to look different, and how will that impact altcoin season? And then is altcoin season going to be split up into different narratives? So are we going to see like an AI altcoin season? We've already seen a Memecoin season, which has been going through the absolute roof at the moment. And some of the Memecoin frenzy that we've seen has been like remarkable / insane. So is it going to be different narratives? Are we going to see an RWA season coming up soon as well? So I think it's breaking up in between the few. I'm going to kind of keep, because I know everyone's looking at like how they rotate out of BTC and how they personally move. Are you going to be rotating out of BTC?
Yes, I think I will when the real alt season starts around. But I still think that, so in terms of when I think it's going to be coming, I definitely think it'll be after the halving. But I don't think it's going to be as crazy as the previous alt season.
Yeah.
In the perspective, I still think you're going to have coins rallying in relation to Bitcoin. I just don't think it'll be as aggressive. And this is stuff we've talked about a lot before. The question around ETFs, people can't rotate out of ETFs. Firstly, because they practically can't. You're not holding Bitcoin, you're holding a share. And secondly, because they're not the kind of investors that we wanted to invest in altcoins. And secondly, if you look at the previous altcoin season, which is 2020, 2021, 2022, 2021 and 2020, was the stimmy money.
Yes.
And a lot of people locked down. There was a lot more disposable income. People could throw money at altcoins. And also was the time of meme stocks, AMC, GameStop. Altcoins fell into that bucket as well. Whereas now, cost of living stuff, the general retail, it's difficult. So will they have enough disposable income to just throw into altcoins and things like that? So I think it's going to be coming after the halving. I think there will be a rotation into ETH. I don't think that it's going to be as crazy as previous alt seasons.
Yeah. And there is also more of a narrative now of people accumulating their Bitcoin. So Michael Saylor has over 1% of the total supply of Bitcoin now. So do all of the spot Bitcoin ETF issuers. So I think some people are also keen to hold on to their Bitcoin and maybe not risk losing their BTC back, which I also totally understand.
Yeah, no, exactly. So if you guys want a more in-depth analysis of when alt season, well, a little bit more alpha for you as well. Another video next week will be coming out that looks into this. So yeah, look out, keep your eyes peeled for that.
Okay, next up we have Gianzi.eth. Do you stake your crypto? And if so, how and where?
Yeah, I do stake some of my crypto. So obviously you guys know I hold Injective, INJ, and I stake that across numerous different validators. Split it across at least 5 or 6 different validators. Obviously, main point there being you want to diversify risk. You don't want to have too much in one validator because there's too much risk in one particular validator going down, hitting slashing, that kind of stuff. In terms of what I look at when I'm looking at these validators, I'm more inclined to go and pay more in terms of fees for a validator that's got a better track record, right? Because I'm worried about slashing this kind of stuff, especially in the case you've got large bags and large allocations you don't want to get slashed and take the risk with. And yeah, I think it's also important to diversify in general across validators. I mean, from an idealistic standpoint, because therefore there's less concentration risk in any particular validator from staking power. I think that other things you could, in terms of good validators, I don't know, in this Cosmos ecosystem, there's quite a few. There's big well-known names. There's also a friend of the channel, Crypto Cito. He runs Stake Cito. It's a big validator on Cosmos and have expanded to numerous other chains. And yeah, that's my strategy for staking. And then one more thing you can do if you have a really big stack or if you're really concerned is validator insurance. So some staking providers provide validator insurance.
I didn't know that.
Slashing insurance, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so just pay a bit more premium to be insured in case of any sort of slashing events. Yeah. So
sounds good. As a new INJ ninja, you need to let me know which validators to use.
I'll give you the alpha on that. Do you because you used to hold Cosmos, or do you still?
I still hold Cosmos. I was staking my Cosmos for a little bit. And I mostly stake on kind of like hot wallets. So I'm not a particularly avid kind of staker on different validators. However, I have been slightly converted by a new project that we have heard of that is coming out soon called Babylon that offers BTC staking. And that's something that we had the co-founder of Babylon, called David C., who's a Stanford professor of engineering. He came on the Coin Bureau Discord for an AMA a few days ago, and that converted me into looking to possibly staking my Bitcoin in a kind of an interesting manner. So you can stake your coins on POS systems and earn rewards built on the Cosmos SDK and secures the protocol. And you listened to the AMA too. What did you think?
Yeah, he's a very smart guy. I'm very excited about it. I think that this whole idea of being able to unlock so much, billions and billions of wealth being stored as digital gold. Come back to this question of digital gold, right?
Yeah.
Why not be able to utilize that in a way to secure and validate other chains, right? And the Bitcoin is the most secure chain, right? So it's unlocking that value and that potential. And it was really good. It was really good AMA. And if you guys want to hear it, obviously just go and join the Coin Bureau Discord. I'll leave a link. We'll leave a link to the sign up below, and it's been recorded, so it'll be there as well. Yeah, it was a really good conversation.
They just seem like super switched on guys. So Vanek had cited out that Babylon, but also Bitcoin staking was one of the narratives to watch for 2024. And the co-founder, who David C. had shouted out and used Robin Lingus, who's one of the Bitcoin devs. They'd kind of helped and worked with scaling the Babylon concept. So it just seems like something that makes a lot of sense. It's a gap in the industry that you didn't really acknowledge was there until they've come up to you with a solution. And I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on it as it rolls out.
Cool. Keep your eyes peeled for that, guys. Okay, next question. This is from Kedia Ankit, and they ask, top 3 AI coins to buy right now.
This is a good one. So I have 3 that are kind of watch list or previously bought. However, I acknowledge that I have slept on AI tokens more so than I should have. I was listening to Vitalik's interview from ETH Taipei this morning, and he was saying, AI narratives is really one to watch. He's looking at concrete applications that really make sense, and he's looking at AI for prediction markets and micro scaling of solving AI into wallets to assisting users with on-chain environments. So he's looking at AI as something that is one to watch. Don't sleep on it, don't miss. And I mean, the past few weeks, we've seen AI tokens absolutely rally, and I did not have any in my bag at that moment, and I was kicking myself a little bit. So I think it's definitely something that I'm going to look into, diving more into some different AI tokens. We've mentioned Near. Near is top of the list for me at the moment. Near, if I'm going to accumulate some more, Near is going to be the first and foremost, just because, again, really impressed with Ilya. And if they're ever looking to scale and expand, I think he's got the capabilities, the mindset, and the network to do so. We also had Singularity Net, which is one of the longest standing AI projects on the Coin Bureau Discord on Sunday evening, and you can listen to the AMA. Singularity was one of the 2017 ones to watch. They sold out of their ICO in 60 seconds, raising $36 million. Ben Goertzel, who is the founder of Singularity Net and also Hanson Robotics, is the dude behind Sophia, the AI robot. I know, you got to mention it, because for a lot of people, it's like, AI crypto is so over there, but when you look at, he had a segment, Sophia the AI robot had a segment in 2020 with Will Smith.
Yeah. Yes.
Where they went on a fake little date because he was the I am robot kind of dude. I am robot? Well, what was the film?
I mean, it was I Am Robot, yeah.
Okay.
Is that why you turned out crazy when you went on a date with this?
With Sophia the robot, it all went downhill from there, guys. So Singularity DAO is one that I think is interesting because it has a much smaller market cap. Marcelo, who was the co-founder of Singularity Net, is now focusing his time and efforts onto Singularity DAO. And they have some interesting updates. So if you hold SDAO, you get allocation in different launches, you get fee distribution vaults, and you can stake and become a DAO member. The Launchpad is rolling out different projects within the ecosystem. Also, they kind of gave us the heads up on the Coin Bureau Discord, and you guys should listen to it if you have the time, that the Launchpad's coming soon with one integration on one pretty impressive platform. And we can't say what, it's not announced yet, but he gives a little bit more allusion into what is coming soon for Singularity Net and Singularity DAO. I also was holding Open Fabric AI for what felt like a very long time, which is a kind of L1 crypto AI marketplace. Sold it about 2 weeks before it 4x'd. Paper hands. I know, it happens, guys. But they also have quite a lot of crypto-focused VCs, Gate.io Labs, Contingent Vendors, Autonomy Capital, Zeros Capital. They've also got some interesting backing, and they're rolling out some nice integrations too. So I do have a few. I also acknowledge that I want to bulk out my AI watch list.
Wow, so that's a lot of alpha in there. Well, I need to take a look into some of those, sprinkle it all over.
Making it rain,
dropping that alpha all over. Salt. Alpha just like
cool. Sorry, just one thing to add. So Marcelo during this AMA was he's a very charming, friendly Italian, visionary AI mind. And then someone asked him in the comments, great questions, by the way, for everyone that submitted. There was one centralized AI project founder that had tweeted out saying SingularityNet hasn't done anything in the last kind of 3 years, what's been going on. Marcelo just annihilated that answer. He was like, this is why we need decentralized AI. This is what's important. And it made me so bullish. I think when you hear founders really defend their why of the objective of what they're looking to do.
Passionate Italian accent.
Yeah, the passion in it. And I just thought that is such conviction that I'm going to look into you guys a lot more as a project and potentially accumulate some myself.
Cool. Yeah, so in terms of my AI watch list, I don't hold any AI coins at the moment, which is probably a bit of an oversight on my part. And my AI watch list isn't as extensive as yours, but I've got two, and one is a pretty it's done very well recently, but I still think it's got some potential. And another one is a bit under the radar, which you may not have come across, unless you're a CBC member. But so the first one is a Cash. Now, a Cash is a project that's been around since 2019. It's a decentralized cloud compute infrastructure project, so kind of like a decentralized AWS, and obviously decentralized computing is important for a lot of these AI applications because there's a large amount of computing that's needed. We've covered them in the Coin Bureau Club about a few months ago, and look, the token has gone crazy over the past 2 weeks, and this week actually it's pretty crazy. So I was watching a Crypto Cito video, so shout out to Crypto Cito. He was saying on Monday that I think it could be listed on Coinbase, and it was AKT hit Coinbase this week, and then boom. So that's obviously a good listing for Cash, right? Yeah. And the AKT token is used for obviously transaction fees, staking, governance, and then of course being used as a transactional medium within this network and marketplace for AI compute. The supply side is looking good in the sense that it's all vested out. Demand side, and then inflation will also taper out. So it's, that's tokenomics wise, it's good. Demand side, it's still a little bit lacking in terms of not that many providers on the marketplace, but this is something that they're trying to constantly onboard. And of course, as the more they're on board, the more demand will be created for AKT. Although there is a question recently, which was posed in our review on it, which if you're a Coin Bureau Club subscriber, you'll be able to watch, is that they're going to potentially be using USDC as a transactional medium, which could lead to less demand for AKT from a utility perspective if it really takes over. But right now, they want to try and create a lot of demand for AKT. So in that video, we said, look, in terms of prices, it could have 10x from $2, it's now at $5. So if they believe in the prediction within the video, potentially $20 the cycle, but don't hold me to that. I think it's an interesting project, and it's definitely one I'm going to keep on watching. And now another project is one that coincidentally I came across in two different ways. One is obviously was covered on the Coin Bureau Club. The members voted for it. And another is that I spoke to the CEO this week, and this is AOS.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now, the interesting thing about this project is that it's been around for quite some time, since 2013, and it in 2019 moved into the crypto space as well. And I don't know about it because they haven't done a lot of promotions. Like the founder is just a super smart techie, like a passionate individual, and I didn't know about them until actually seen on the Coin Bureau Club, and then also speaking to him. And after you speaking to him, you realize how exciting the project is in terms of what they're trying to build out, in terms of like the vision they have and how passionate he is as a founder and what they've been working on. And they were at NVIDIA GTC back in 2019 as well, as one of the few crypto projects in that space. Now, similarly, it's got a few different things it's trying to take on, right? Decentralized compute, decentralized storage. They've got the W3S, which is kind of like a decentralized AWS bucket system for storage, and they've also got W3 IPFS, so they want to try and look at storage across, decentralized network, a decentralized IPFS network, kind of like a Filecoin. They've also got the streaming component; they want to look at streaming, and then of course there's this W3 AI they're working on right now, which is a decentralized AI computing network. Now, I know when I first heard that, I was like, okay, well, this is a lot of different facets. How are you going to bring it all together? But there's a lot of thought gone into like how will you combine this all into one. And if you think about it, also like a lot of people who've got potential hardware to offer to a network, it doesn't necessarily have to fit one use case. So it doesn't necessarily only have to be, this is going to be compute. You can also provide some storage. If you have a compute network that you can be renting out to AI agents, you could also be looking at offering streaming services. So there's definitely sort of synergies you could use within the network if you are providing to the network as a provider for the compute or storage, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's a really exciting project. It has, like I said, there's a review on the CBC. I may accumulate some over the next few days. I think it's an interesting, I definitely think it's an interesting one to look at for the AI space. So those are my two. I'm going for two. I don't have as much alpha as Jess for you today, but
you had way more. I'm actually having a look now on where is AR's listed.
It's on Coinbase.
Coinbase.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Do you remember in 2017 there was like 3 tokens on Coinbase, and it was like, oh, is XRP going to go on Coinbase? And now it seems like Coinbase are just rolling in the listings.
Coinbase is rolling out the listings. Yeah. So
interesting.
they got to compete, man. Well, it's still not as fast as something like a Binance, which released over the weekend when they released Surf. Was it Schlurf? Schlurf, like literally less than 24 hours after it launched. I don't know how that's even possible. I'd love to know. I'd love to know. The Binance guys are more like they know more.
Trigger friendly, just like yep. Memecoins, let's get it. But that was the craziest news that I saw this week in crypto. Actually, news. Okay, so next question we have is from Titonkel. Grow up, Nick. What do you think about PYTH vesting? As in 81 days, there is a massive unlock.
Tit uncle in a vest. Tit vest. Sorry, my immature mind here. It's a big concern, obviously. It's been a concern for quite some time. We'd mentioned it in reviews. We'd mentioned it in previous Q&As and stuff like that. It's a large unlock. It's about $2.1 billion. 2.1 billion PYTH that's been unlocked, which is, currently that's 21.3% of the outstanding supply. Are you taking the PYTH? Yeah. Sorry, I had to get it in there. It's a PYTH, mate. They're not taking the PYTH, actually. It is 21.3% of the supply with only 15% currently outstanding. So the outstanding supply could more than double on that unlock. So it's obviously a concern because obviously unlocks when there's large supply in the market are some of the early investors and people who wanted to potentially see their gains have been locked up for so long. Are they going to immediately hit the sell? Because PYTH has done a crazy rally. PYTH has done incredibly well. You hold PYTH, right? I hold PYTH, yeah. So it is a concern. The question then comes down to, are they going to necessarily sell immediately? I mean, obviously these people, if you think about there's lots of potential in PYTH network itself, like they may think, okay, I'll keep on holding it. So they may not necessarily sell. I do think, though, one thing that we'd like to see potentially, and I know there's been rumors and talk about this, is to create utility demand for PYTH token within the PYTH network beyond just governance. Yeah. So it's not so that will create demand to utilize PYTH, which will then potentially counteract any sort of sell pressure. So this could be utilizing it for something like fees or other kinds of stuff within the PYTH network. I know there've been talk about potential PIPs, so PYTH improvement proposals. That could do this and create that demand. So that's something else to look out for. I would keep your eyes peeled. 20th of May. Yeah. That is a massive unlock, isn't it? Yeah. I didn't realize until you gave the context just how significant that would be. It's a big cliff, big cliff. So keep it on the radar, and also keep following and seeing what's up with PYTH in terms of their proposals, right? Because if they do create a new demand mechanism for PYTH, then this could counteract some of that. Do you hold PYTH? I don't. I sold, unfortunately. I sold a lot of the rally that I missed out on because I needed some fiat liquidity. I missed out on that. Did paper hand that bad boy. But to be honest, I was forced to. It wasn't an intentional decision. I was like, PYTH has done quite well for me over the past. Let me try and sell out to that, and then damn. So that's it. I appreciate you admitting paper hands there because I get called paper hands in the office probably 3 times a week. So it's nice to know that's collect across the board. Inverse, Jess. Yeah. Not financial advice. So what we have? Oh, is this my question? Yeah, I think it's one more question. Sorry, this is from a chap called nicrypto. What a great username! He must work in crypto, right? He must work in crypto. Yeah, and he's asking, Ton is going crazy, over 100% in less than a month. Do you guys hold it? No, yeah, man. Do you hold any Ton? I would classify this as office bullying, to be completely honest with you guys. Like, look at that. Look how happy he looks. Okay, paper hands, Jessica. I hold my hands up. I sold some AI tokens before the AI rally. I sold some Toncoin before the Toncoin rally. I will tell you, first of all, why I sold it. And then I'll talk through why it's going crazy. Rationalizing bad decisions. always. And also, to be honest, since looking into Ton some more this week, it's like the ex-boyfriend you just don't want to give another chance to. But I'll tell you why I'm considering it. So first of all, it's already got such a big market cap. It's really one of the projects I thought that, how much more upside potential did it have? It was a top 10 crypto at the time of selling. And I just thought, I don't see it really kind of
accelerating with its market capitalization. There's not so many developments that are going out when it comes to the crypto narrative. The ecosystem within TON doesn't seem to be as extensive as the likes of, we've got Solana, Avalanche, the other top 10s that it's kind of aligned with and next to on the market cap leaderboard. That's being said, why is it going crazy? So Telegram has announced plans of potentially going public, listing their shares on stock exchanges. Also, a Telegram game called Altcoin has also been gaining a lot of traction. This is something that some of the guys, I think Kevin on the Coin Bureau Club research feed has also given quite a lot of light to. The reason that I'm regretting my decision and tempting to backtrack Reddit IPO that came out this week. So all eyes have been on Reddit, and this is Telegram has more monthly active users than Reddit. Reddit has 850 monthly active users. Telegram has 900. The Reddit IPO went live this week. It was up 48% on the first day of trading. It peaked as shares being up 70% during the first day of trading. And I'm just thinking through if this is something that we are going to see expand into a ecosystem outside of just crypto, and then more things are going to be integrated within the Telegram platform. If we're going to see more tokens and projects integrate with Telegram, is this something that TON will reap the benefits from? Probably yes. I think the founder as well has got quite an interesting outlook on everything. I actually had spoken to Pavel, the founder of Telegram, at one point. He mentioned these extremely small amount of developers that Telegram and Toncoin have. Telegram itself as a platform, I think they have under 50 devs.
It's crazy. Unheard of,
Which for 900 million monthly active users, if you look at the ratio between the two, is just exponential. So I did paper hand my Toncoin. I am maybe looking at getting back into it because I do think over the next few months. However, I will wait for a bit of a retracement because there has been a little bit of hype around the potential of the IPO. I also think people will have a similar mindset to me, which is Reddit IPO has done really well. If Toncoin Telegram IPO is going to have the same effect, it might pump. So I'm going to stay away for now, but just keep watching from the sidelines.
Okay, cool. Well, can you do us a favor and let us know the moment you buy so I can hit the short button?
Inverse Jessica strategy in the office, guys. I promise I do have some great...
Maybe share that alpha with us.
You guys were all quiet when I switched my ETH to Sol in October.
This is true.
Then I didn't get a shout out. But as soon as I paper hand a small bag of TON...
That's the nature of the crypto markets. Everyone will give you all amounts of shit for 1 or 2 losses, and then you can do as many good trades as possible. But
I will absolutely keep you posted when I accumulate, but I am looking at getting back into it because it's like the long lost love. Okay, final surprise.
This is the surprise we've all been waiting for.
Okay, just to clarify, before we get into it, whatever I do show you now on my laptop, can you promise that it's not going to result in a disciplinary or me getting put on the employee naughty step?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I can't promise anything, we need to, okay, fine.
Okay, fine. You hit it. If you don't see me next week, guys, send for help.
Hidden camera or something going on yet?
Okay, there was a hidden camera. So at the beginning of the week, I got Nick to sit next to me and I had found on ChatGPT a crypto rap, and I got you to read it. You didn't realize we actually had a gimbal that I had set up. We have a new small camera, and I had it set up. So while you were reading it out,
I would have practiced my Eminem voice properly. What the hell was going on here?
So I was just getting him to review ChatGPT, the free version, and the rap, and you thought it was pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean the lyrics were good, but I wasn't, I wasn't in the right frame of mind to rap it. We'll see. I don't know.
So I did record it and then send it to our music producer, Pim, and I got it mixed up into a track. Do you want to hear it?
Let's go with it. Let's go.
Do you guys want to hear it? Yes, you do. Okay, cool. And it's called Coin Bureau Get Low.
Oh, God.
Yo, it's the crypto rap. Let me set the stage where Bitcoin's the king, ruling all the rage. LTC, and XRP in the mix. We're stacking up gains, making moves quick. Chain revolution, breaking all the norms.
A little bass bit, it's nice.
That's good.
The depth to the highs of the moon with a heart lit strong, singing a bullish tune. Crypto rap up the market's high, stacking up plans, reaching the sky. Running wild, ears on the run. In this digital jungle, we're having fun. Altcoins popping off like fireworks at night. ICO frenzy shining bright. NFTs creating a whole new craze. Artists and gamers joining the maze. DeFi changing the game, banking without banks. Yield farming, liquidity pools giving thanks. Smart contracts.
You even got liquidity pools in there.
Finance in a revolutionary way. Crypto rap, the market's high. Stacking up coins.
Let's go. The course.
Running wild, bears on the run. In this digital jungle, we're having fun.
There we go. I mean, Pim, credit to you, bro. That's really good. Like, I was just kind of like worried this is going to turn out like really shit in terms of like, but now it seems like, you know, the edit was great, you know.
The edit was great, seeing as it was just a kind of a verbal run through. ChatGPT came through with the free version of a rap. It was pretty extensive.
So does this mean in a bear market I could also moonlight as a crypto rapper?
Yeah, I think we could have a whole Coin Bureau album.
Yeah.
I was kind of making the joke that Dan, our head of research, who is this absolute gigabrain, if we had like a Dan track, it would be like 27-minute long freestyle.
Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah, no, that would be the alpha. That would be the alpha track.
That would be the alpha track.
That would be it, man. Yeah.
So I apologize for, you know, using your voice for the track, but I think we just needed it.
I think it's cool though. But if you are going to sell that, I want my royalties. You know.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you
that is proprietary material.
3%.
Oh, invert that maybe. Cool.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the rap, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was interesting. So yeah, Pim's going to become. We should hire him in-house to just be our music producer and produce all of this, right?
We need a full-time.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot, Pim, and thanks again, guys. I mean, obviously the questions were great, and we love answering them. Of course, you know what you need to do if you want to ask us in the future. You just got to follow our Instagram, which will be linked to down below, and then every week just submit those questions. We try and go through as many of them as possible. Sometimes we don't get to them. We'll come back to them. It's all good. But this has been fun. Thanks a lot, Jess.
Thanks, guys.
Do it again soon. And guys, enjoy the rest of your week. And remember, choose rich.